All right, we are now going over to the amazing Beetlejude and our next section, which is Art in Space. Here we go. Over to you, Jude.
Hello. I'm looking at Lave Station rotating. Oh no, there's my face. Never mind. Oh yes, it's the picture. I have got Orange Phoenix with me, and I just spoke to him, so I know he's here.
I am here. Yes.
Yay,
Hello. Hello.
that worked. Excellent. And this is a picture of Orange Phoenix's avatar in game, which is it is good because he takes good pictures and that. I've got nothing clever to say about it, but
well, I was amazed that you and humbled that you came across and asked, would I appear with you on Lavecon? Never been able to take part in Lavecon, so it's great to be here, everybody.
Yeah, I thought who better, because obviously you take such good photos of the game, and I really enjoy drawing photos of the game, and it's a good excuse to draw a photo that you've taken because, anyway. And you're confident talking on camera as
well. Well, I've been lucky enough to see the finished article as well as see the video, and it always amazes me watching you do your work on your YouTube and seeing it at a slightly slower rate as well for this. Particularly doing like this bit. How you do it, I really don't know. Do you have any kind of tips on that you can tell people about how you can draw figures like this? Because I can't do it. I just cannot do it.
There's a bunch of rules you can follow, but I don't always follow them particularly. I think you're supposed to start planning the top and the bottom, and then you kind of work out where the middle is, like the top of the head and the bottom of the feet, and then halfway down is like hips, and then halfway between the hips and the head is like armpits, boob height, and then you've got knees in between the hips and the feet, and that's like quartering it, and that sort of helps you work out proportionally so you don't get some kind of weird caricature type character.
Yeah, I often end up with a big fat head.
The head is bigger. The head is bigger than you know, especially but if you do it massive, it's going to look like a kid because kids have big heads. They do.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, and I think a lot of it is just drawing circles and then squaring off the circles. I tend to draw everything using circles at the start if I can, and then just try and make geometric shapes from them if it works that way. But yeah, I think a lot of it is because like again, it's really easy copying something that doesn't move, which is why I like photos, because it's not going anywhere. With a real person, they tend to shift around a bit. I don't know whether you've noticed that.
Well, the other thing I notice you do a lot of is like the rubbing out and sketch a bit, rub out, sketch a bit.
Yeah.
The problem I always had when I draw is when you rub out something, you end up with that horrible smudge. Is what kind of rubber should you use?
No, I mean this is actually a pencil crayon as well, and they're terrible. So I wasn't guaranteed. I wasn't sure whether it actually would rub out. But then I think you're in the opposites, because it really doesn't matter how many times you take your picture, because you can always take another one and just not show the ones you didn't take. You can't go wrong, and if you do, you can edit it using Photoshop or something. Not that you do so much, do you? You tend to get it right first. You tend to get it right in game. Structure.
That's the thing, when you're taking pictures in game, the biggest trick is take loads of pictures, and one of them will be right. You can't just go. Very rarely I'll take a picture and that's the picture once I've seen a location or a particular item. But it is about taking your time, thinking out the box, maybe with your angles and stuff. So you just get yourself set.
Since Odyssey's come out, have you changed what you? Obviously, you're doing more people, but have you changed what you're being asked to draw to photograph as well?
Yeah, so when I'm taking pictures in Odyssey, obviously, you've got the obvious, the new atmospherics, the new lighting to take advantage of, but it's more the subtle things like the zoom, for example.
Yeah,
the zoom is slightly different, and that threw me off to begin with. Being able to just sort of try and set that up and then go, oh, wait a minute, that planet's an egg. Okay, normally I would tap zoom in a couple of times, that would resolve it.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily do that now in Odyssey.
Oh, really?
And you tap a couple in and it's like, it's still an egg. Tap another couple in, it's still an egg. Okay, so you have to reposition the camera more. But
are you finding it all right, or is it really? I'm not going to say nice. No, I think because I've seen the photos you've taken, it's clearly working.
Oh yeah, it's definitely working. There is a few differences like the zoom that need to get sort of worked on. But Sally's obviously doing something about that at the moment. She's trying to give the camera suite some love, and
I know they're on, aren't they, at the moment, because it's a bit.
Yeah, well, the blackout's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
But that more affects. Yeah, exactly. The SRV is the worst one. It's more when you try to take video, though. It makes it so difficult because you've got a perfect pan shot and then suddenly blackout. And it's not where you would expect it to be.
Yeah, and you're so happy with what you've got, and you think, just a tweak, and how do you get that back? Because you just have to pull right out again, don't you? Or move completely, and then you can set up the image again.
In some cases, yeah, but in other cases, because it's when the camera gets blocked between you and the physical item in the game. So, say you're doing a pan-in shot, it could suddenly black out just because there's a tiny little spire from a Thargoid structure, or just something really, really simple and almost pointless. And yeah, it just gets that sudden blackout, and you have to start from the beginning again, because on a video you can't edit that out without it looking like a stutter.
Yeah.
But I'm mainly pictures. And
you're still quite a lot of the time, aren't you?
Yeah,
I think what you're doing when you're doing stuff for the magazines, it is they want a beautiful double image, don't they, to spread across.
Like with Sagittarius Eye, there's an article coming up shortly that's involving a little bit of kind of combat photography.
Thargoids.
It's not actually. No. We did Thargoids in two of the recent ones.
Okay.
This is another one. I can't spoil it too much.
Oh right,
but
okay.
It involves ships, but
it was more specify what that is. But fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to. I get into trouble. But a group of us went out and we wanted to try and get these action shots.
Yeah.
And taking those shots was a joy, to be honest, because of the lighting of the lasers, and all these sort of aspects. They really flare a lot better.
Yeah.
But then you've got the problem of angles. So you get everybody positioned up, you take the shot, and you're like, no, not right. Like, bear with me, move the camera a little bit. So it's sort of playing around with it, and that's the trick to any of the photography in the game. Set yourself up for what you think is going to be the picture, and then stop, think.
Yeah,
and maybe
and like, have you tried like the multi-crew ship launch fighter stuff too? Because I know Burr and Rini do that.
Yeah, the multi-crew is brilliant. Certainly, it was in Horizons. It's not 100% in Odyssey at the moment. However, I have been doing, for another Sagittarius Eye article, something that involved somebody flying in a certain manner that I can't do and take pictures. So yeah, we used the multi-crew, and it worked really, really well.
I did a picture for Primetime Casual once, and it was of some I can't remember what they were, may have been couriers or something, going down through a valley, and it was just the most amazing shot. And I don't know how he took the photo. I don't know how they managed to sort of, at the same time as swooping towards this crevasse, they managed to also go into outside camera, because they clearly were flying the ships.
Yeah, it is doable. I've had to do it in the past, but I had brilliant experience with the Newton's Gambit crew. Because we did, that's the one. So the Newton's Gambit, we did a whole article. This is long before Odyssey, but we did a whole article, and I have this fond memory of getting them all to pose for a shot, and it ended up being the cover. And they're all posing, but what people don't realize is they only fly an FA off. So I had them posing for 10 minutes, holding a position FA off on with a gravitational aspect. And as soon as they're right, yeah, I think I've got enough, there was a sigh of relief from all of them as they landed.
Required them to do it, but it was just Fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the photography in this, and what you do, being able to make a lot of these images into pieces of art. I'm lucky enough to have one of your pieces that you sent me of the asteroid base.
Oh, yes. Well, the heart. Yes, that was
in the Heart and Soul.
Yeah, the Heart and Soul.
Yeah, base camp.
That was just nice to do because it was the big deal, wasn't it? Or the big.
Yeah.
It's what's the word? The pilgrimage out there and everything.
Yeah, out to the memorial for my dad. Yeah, but I've got this, sitting up on the wall here, right in front of me, in my little PC corner, and then on the other wall, I've got Dr. K's painting that I was lucky enough to win.
Yeah, I watched that on stream a few times. It was amazing seeing that come together, and it's just and it is painterly. And it's different because I try and make it look exactly like, but then it's got the swirls and the curves, and you feel like you're being sucked into it, don't you? It's fantastic.
Exactly, because I sent her a few pictures, and I was like, any of these would do, she's amalgamated two of them effectively.
Oh, really? Is that what? Yeah, I wondered whether or not that was it. She may be a bit busy to do some painting at the moment, possibly.
Yes, busy. Yeah, but it's amazing. I love seeing, like we're watching just now, just the way when you start doing the textures here of the ground
textures and how surface they have improved planetary textures. Tons.
Oh yeah.
I know that people are complaining about the repeats, but when you stood here, you don't see that on the planet's surface. I've not been bothered by that in the slightest, personally.
I'll be honest, it's not as bad as a lot of people seem to make out to me.
Well, those things aren't really, are they?
Well, yeah, there's an element, I think, of people being a little bit, jaded and going on a little bit too much about it. But like the fact that you're covering footprints currently in the drawing just now, and just you can change. You can.
It's so evocative, isn't it?
Yeah, just walking about can change an image that you're about to take a picture of. Sometimes for the negative, because you want it to make it look like you've just walked onto the scene and you're like, oh, damn it, I took 2 steps to the left and you can see it. Oh, no, it's moved to another spot sort of thing.
But even before Odyssey, with the tyre tracks in SRVs, that great big slew of red you'd be able to carve across a white planet. It always was pleasing, making your mark and then showing that.
Well, that reminds me of SPVFA. We ended up having a winner to one of our competitions, and it was Alec Turner, and he'd written SPVFA with. Only Alec Turner could actually manage to write something perfectly in the ground with tyre tracks.
You'd want to know what font he used and be picky about things, wouldn't you?
Because I've tried it as well, and you kind of have
easy.
to. You've got to hop it. Even try to do an O. It's so difficult. But he's got the full SPVFA perfectly written.
Yeah. If anyone can drive an SRV,
yes,
I believe
indeed.
you can. Well, forwards for long periods of time.
For long periods of time, yes.
Yeah. Oh no, it's cool. I mean, I am loving the experience of being on planets. They're looking at the textures and the just the surfaces and the colours in the sky. I really enjoy nebulas because all the different colours of chalk I can put on. But with the skies now, these atmospheres, they're just so varied and they're just wonderful. I'm really loving the atmospheres.
Yeah, I've been kind of messing around with trying to see how nebulas are affected and what different atmospheres will give different colors versus the star in the system.
Yeah,
that's something I've been trying to research, not sort of brilliantly, unfortunately.
Chemical.
Yeah, I'll let you say that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, with the gases.
Yes,
what gas gives you what scatter? I know that's something people know about.
But like the recent CG, obviously being out, kind of Orion with right close to Barnard's and Running Man and whatnot. Yeah. So I was
that nebula out there at Barnard's for the recent CG that was beautiful. That red,
yes,
really
the rich red, yeah. And I did take a trip out to Heart and Soul as soon as I got my hands on this PC with Odyssey.
Different?
It's a lot more vivid. But currently, I don't know if it's been remedied recently, but currently it's a bit pixelated. It's not actually quite as good as it was in Horizons, but I haven't been out to it since the 2 updates. So the chances are it's probably better than it was. but I did find myself having to be a bit more conscious of getting certain parts of the nebula and not other parts of the nebula shown. But
when I've been out to California Nebula, that's been quite chunky.
Yeah,
it still looks great though.
Like funnily enough, with the Orion area for the recent CG, I was actually doing it on Xbox and PC simultaneously for the CG.
So you were seeing different things.
Exactly. So I'm in exactly the same spot, the same site, facing the same direction on both of them, and looking at a nebula, and the nebula looks so much better in Odyssey. So much better in Odyssey.
That is good news. And I kind of expected.
It looked actually, part of it looked like it was very pixelated in Horizons versus Odyssey. Oh. So it once again, I think the recent changes since I'd been out to Heart and Soul have remedied what I'd witnessed the first time round. But I have, Heart and Soul's a fair distance away, so I haven't been back out there.
Not somewhere you nip.
Back out there since.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it's the detailing that I'm noticing that's really sort of catching my eye as a photographer. I don't know about you as an artist.
In your Facebook page, I noticed the other week somebody posted a close-up of fabric, and I was just completely, I don't know whether it was actually, it might not have been in that. It was a close-up. It could have been on Twitter, could have been anywhere.
It could have been anywhere.
In Tesco. No, I'm fairly certain it was a game shop of just a close-up of a commander in their suit, and just the quality of the difference between the leather and the canvas and the plastic surface of the different outfit parts.
Yeah, the sort of weave. Yeah, the texture of the weave I've noticed in a few of my shots and other people's shots, and that patch that where the jetpack technically goes is like so glossy, and particularly since the recent update, the most recent one, patch 5, the glossiness is just wow, really cool. You can almost see your full reflection in it, and then obviously you've got the visor. The reflection on the visor is brilliant.
Yes, and that the fact that you've got that reflected light. I've been on planets, and the fact that the planets, the reflected light really matters, and in terms of like your heat as well. I think.
There's
stuff like that.
I must admit, it does feel weird being a noob again and having to learn all these new aspects again, because I have a good few times where I'm sat there, setting up a picture, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I've got to remember about my power and switch back to my suit to see that I'm like on 1% power and I'm about to suffocate. Oh, all right, okay, better deal with that.
I could watch the Frontier streams and tell them exactly what they're doing wrong, but I know full well that I will do that too when I'm playing, because I will not put my suit shield on when I should do. But I'll say to them, because I've not got to think about it myself, I'll say, oh, you should put your suit shield on. My armchair expert.
I am finding my confidence levels. It's almost like being schizophrenic. I'm totally changing as soon as I'm on foot versus being in the ship. Perfectly confident, doing all this sort of stuff, and then I go to on foot, and I'm having to think about so many other things because they're not muscle memory anymore. But also recently, I'm, as I was explaining to you before the appearing on here, is now using HOSAS, and I'm using that for the camera suite as well. So I'm now controlling this camera in such a new way, and it's pretty interesting. But I am noticing for video, I can get so much more smooth pans with 2 sticks versus
really.
And instead of using, like I used to use the throttle, for example, for zoom and the toggle on the back for lateral movement, but now I can get that lateral movement so much slower and then speeding up versus. Before it was more a kind of analog feel to it, on or off. So I'm noticing all that as well. Now, going back to your picture, this bit, this is what fascinates me. You're sitting there with a little white pencil, and just this thing starts to come to life.
You got to draw the bits that are light, and then draw the bits that are dark, and then draw the bits that are light again, and then
they're watercolor pencils,
yeah, they are pencil crayons. You can sharpen them up, but they are never going to be quite as, and you do have to use a bit of paint in the end if you want to. They are more detailed than chalk, but less detailed than actual paint, I suppose.
So you're going over the pencil with paint, or is
No,
it
no,
you?
they are just. It's just water on a
It's just
paintbrush.
water. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
Yeah.
you do the color with the pencil, but the pencil is just pigmented, kind of like chewy, kind of almost like waxy. If you just try drawing with them, they're too crumbly to really. Well, they're not crumbly; they're quite firm, but they're just like they're quite gravelly. You can sort of see that they give a I don't know really, quite a kind of like particulate surface, which then completely disappears when you put water on it because it's just solidified pigment. Anyway, yeah, no, they're quite nice to use.
Because I've used watercolor pencils in the past very badly, but I have used them. But it's how you manage to keep those white lines. That bit there, you just paint it in there.
Oh, they're quite good fun though. The watercolor pencils are quite forgiving actually. But yeah, the good thing is that they're not like normal pencil crayons because you can't really use chalk over normal pencil crayons, whereas you can use chalk over these because once you've wet them down, they just sink into the surface of the paper. So you can just you can just go over them with chalk if you want to.
Is that a particular type of paper that you're using for this?
Oh, it's just it's card. You can buy it in Lidl for $1.99. Right. I don't know whether I've got that. It's here, and you get loads of colours, and it's really funky and good, and it's it's great. I like it. And the thing is, I use the card to inspire me anyway. And so like if I've got your picture was really kind of like, I don't know what the composition of this atmosphere was, but it was kind of purple pink, and the ice, like whatever that surface is made from, the salts and the ice on that surface are reflecting that pinkish white purpley atmosphere back. And I just thought I'll use pink paper for this.
Well, I had somebody I think it was just yesterday, somebody in SPVFA on the Facebook page had put a picture of almost exactly the same kind of colors with their commander. And I was like, somebody asked, what type of atmosphere was that? And I'm like, oh, actually, oops. I don't know if I remember exactly what it was. I'm sure it was oxygen and something. It was definitely oxygen involved in that atmosphere, and it was an icy body. And it was just one I stumbled on. And I'll be honest, the first thing I thought of, let's take a picture of this. I've got to get that to Sally. She's like, no, you've
got to. I know. I always, whenever I see anything that just happens to have any pink on it, I do think of Sally. and there do seem to be quite a lot of these planets that I've got quite a dusky hue at the moment, but that may be just because they're the ones we've been to so far. It was those colours they put in first in alpha though, wasn't it? So we've seen more of those.
I believe so,
yeah. The greens and the yellows since, haven't they?
I didn't really get much of a chance to deal with that alpha because I didn't have a PC powerful enough to run Odyssey. My old, bless it, my old laptop here's only got like his, was it 660 GTX in it, and yeah, it's the old Horizons can run on a potato scenario. I could play Horizons on it, but
bless it. Yeah, no, my computer I got one a couple of years ago to update when I realised that, well, predominantly the Sea of Thieves was not updating anymore.
Oh god, yeah.
It was just like I'm sitting in menu waiting and everyone else has been on the sea for half an hour. Yeah, no, but yeah, I think now the graphics cards do need to kick a bit more.
But that's the thing with Odyssey. We've got people with graphics cards that are much older than the current generation running it fine. And then
I'm on a 1070, which is not like state of the art. I think it's good, but I'm getting better frame rates now than I was before the big switch on of Odyssey.
Oh yeah, amazing. Absolutely massive improvements. Yeah. Like I think this latest one's got a few sort of issues with aspects, but Astro Down to Earth Astronomy, he put out a video recently that I would highly recommend people watch if they're having issues with frame rates and stuff, of a wee fix that you can do, and most people are getting like around 70% improvement.
Oh, really?
So it's definitely worth checking that out. I'm lucky enough, thanks to the community drive thing to get me this PC. I'm gifted this amazing PC, and I'm not.
You made like 4 times as much for charity as you did for your.
Oh god, yeah. Well, that was it.
It was all,
But the PC was covered within the first hour, and it was a 20. It was a 24, 20. Well, it ended up 27 hours.
Well, didn't it? I think
it did. Yeah,
it was
Health and Mind.
Good for you as well, for you to be able to support the charity and everything. That's amazing.
The added benefit of that as well is Health and Mind now know about Discord because they're aiming at younger children for so teenagers and such, helping them through mental challenges. And Discord's, the virtual side of things, Discord's a really good option for them. So, but also benefited them in that aspect as well, which is brilliant. Yeah.
I am actually cheating here on this picture. I like to copy. I do like to copy, but the shadow is a bit cheaty. This is not what the shadow looked like in your photo.
Yeah, but the artistic license.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, because the shadow is kind of an oval. It was attached to the feet, though. The feet were on the ground.
But see, this is particularly the bit in your drawing that I'm sitting here, because this is where it kind of comes to life, in my opinion, because with all that contrast suddenly creeping in, and is that pre-planned in your head?
You got to do the bits that you're not going to put your hand on last, so you've got to do the bits that can tolerate having me put
like a bit of pressure
of my cardigan on it. So if I can't, I wouldn't do the star until right at the end, because if I've got to do the star, it's got to be in pale yellow or white, and I know that I'm just going to, the dust of the chalk is just going to muck that up. So you've got to do some bits last, which is why the reflection of the light on the ice or whatever that is, the salt flats or the ice, that has to happen last, because otherwise I'll just.
Was that a different material that you used for that? The white, or is that the
white? Is initially it's chalk, and then I've got white pencil crayon, and then right at the end I just used a bit of white acrylic, because you can't really get whiter than.
Yeah, same with this, the stars, I would imagine, in the background.
The stars are easier to do in white. I try them in different ways. You can, if you've got like the white chalk I've got is really soft. The whitest one, I don't know, I'll put it in front of her. It falls apart. So because it's a lot of pigment and not that much binder, the more expensive chalks you get, the more crumbly they get, and the more they go into your keyboard and the fan of your computer. Thus shortening the life of, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's nearly done, actually.
Yeah, well, this was the bit. I kind of got ahead of myself there, but talking about the using the white, this is where you obviously pulled out the acrylic.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what's she using here?
It is just paint, because you can't, you can't get it tiny enough lines with chalk. It just it is a big old.
However, that Guardian stuff that was featured on the dev stream, that Guardian sketch that you did, I love. They were
great fun to do.
Yeah, but it's the way that it's almost like they're appearing from the depths of shadow when you're drawing them, if you know what I mean, because you start getting the outline and then you start sharpening it up, and it's almost like the camera's being brought into focus almost.
It was. I really enjoyed doing that. I had loads and loads of pictures from Guardians, and I don't know whether you've ever taken a picture. When you take photos, you think, oh, that's so good, but it's not what I need, and you get loads of photos like that. Even for me, when I'm just taking photos, a lot of my photos, they don't stand on their own feet in themselves, but I thought I really liked them as a group, and I just really and I knew that I could bash them out quick, so I thought that was a fun thing to do.
I love looking at your YouTube channel. I'm one of these really bad people that goes and watches videos and then forgets to hit the like button. I am so bad for that, and I have to keep going back into yours and then hitting the like a week later when I suddenly realise, oh wait a minute, I didn't like that.
But it's done, and I think I took the photograph of it in daylight. Unfortunately, that looks so much more blue. I think it's between the pinkish shades that I did at night. This photo that I've taken, but that's with my proper camera, so maybe that is more accurate. I'll send it you in the post.
Send it to me. No. You can't send it to me.
You know that I am capable of posting things. So
I know you are.
2 of them actually. I did one today.
Oh,
I don't know whether I can put it on.
Cool.
You'll not see it. I'll put it on Thingamabout. I did this one. This is your face Look at your.
It's me.
It is. You won't be able to see it yet because it's not on the thingamajiggy. Is that right? No, I've put it too late. Yeah, it's
cool.
probing on the.
Yeah, I did kind of blitz you with pictures.
Oh, that's all right then.
No,
that was one of the ones that I really liked, but I thought that I don't know. I'm not going to do a very good job, and in fact, I haven't. That's proportionally all wrong, but it doesn't matter because it's all good fun.
That's it, exactly. You've got to enjoy what you do, and you obviously enjoy what you do. And like, great. I can imagine you trip over pictures in your household.
I know, and so often people say, "Oh yeah, I'd love a picture," and then you think, you don't want me to send you this, do you? You just want the digital image of it. And then a lot of people, understandably, don't want to give their address out to random people on the internet. I can't imagine why. So I've got all these stacks of photos. Thankfully, I can pictures. Right, thankfully I can kind of like give them away or offer them up for like, charity dues and whatnot. So that works out reasonably in the end. But I do still have always got a backlog of pictures I've done that I can't get rid of.
Like from obviously from the Operation Warbucks thing, I said to you, because you were the first person to approach about trying to help me get a PC, and you were like, "I've got a stack of pictures here. I'll give them to you so you can sell them." And I'm like, "No. Give them away to charity. Do them for a charity event." And maybe that's something the devs could get themselves involved in. If there's any devs watching,
I'm always willing to hand pictures out, but at some stage I will do more. But I've got so many that I'm doing at the moment. I keep saying, I'll do your picture. I like doing them, and I do like doing them, and I keep doing them, and then I realize I have 15 photos to do in a folder that I've not done. It doesn't really matter.
You should see my hard drive when it comes to pictures. It's scary.
I don't think because and the video just must be terrifying, the weight.
It's just poor old laptop is just jam packed with video footage, because I use that as my streaming laptop now. So when I'm recording stuff, that's doing the recording, and it's not got a big hard drive. It's just filled with video footage.
I've had to get myself a little SD card, not like a little portable hard drive that plugs in, just to put some of my. Now I've started making videos. It's just there's such a difference in the amount of data, not data, amount of
the storage. They devour storage. And it's the same with high res pictures, because me originally coming from Xbox, it's all stored on a cloud really with Xbox. If you want to get access to it, you upload it to a cloud. You can use a USB stick, but it's more complicated than that, because you still then need to plug it into PC to access it. So I used to download onto my phone from this cloud, and then take the picture from that and use it for social media or whatever I was going to be using it for. Whereas now it's a case of I can take high res pictures on my computer, and then you suddenly look at this folder full of BMPs that are
they automatically, and then the high res just goes to bit.
It's massive.
You've expanded to fill the space that you now have.
Yeah, it was a Commander Mascamy, a French commander I know, amazing photographer. He started taking pictures, and there was a project that he was helping me with, and he said, "Right, I'll upload these pictures. Here's a Discord drive, a Google Drive I sent him. Right, just upload them to that, and I can get them from there." Oh, brilliant! He sent them all in BMPs, and my drive just filled up instantly. It was something like 40 pictures, and it was so big amount of space he took up on this drive. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I introduced him to a nice simple little program that you can just basically put in the folder and convert all BMPs to PNGs, and it does it all for you.
Sensible, actually. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of bitmaps on my computer.
Yeah, I try.
But then mine don't take high res, so that's not a big deal, because they're not massive bitmaps.
Yes, if the standard res, the 1080 res, you're fine. But if you're taking 4K, like I've got, I kind of cheat a little. My 4K monitor is actually the TV that I inherited off my father-in-law. So it's a 4K TV, and then I'm taking that in high res, and so you're ending up with this huge file.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Wallpaper a house with.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I find I'm spending most of my time then popping that back down. Zulu Romeo saying image batch. I think that is the one. I think Zulu, that's the one I use.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I love this game, and you obviously love this game.
Oh yeah,
and
no, I mean, and everyone finds something different to do in the game, and I love that it's that versatile as a game that you can do what you damn well please, and everyone's experience of the game is so different.
Yeah, with myself, we were talking loosely about this earlier. I try and do a bit of everything in the game. Kind of mercenary when it comes to the combat. I'll help somebody with BGS, then I'll go off and do a bit of combat myself, a bit of bounty hunting or whatnot. Then I'll disappear off in a little exploration or a big exploration, depending on how I feel. Then I've got Sagittarius Eye making me put the photojournalist hat on, saying, right, we need pictures, this.
20,000 light years away.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, we've got a good team. So when they turn around and say, oh, we need pictures of the Phoenix Nebula out near Beagle Point, I'm like, oh, such and such is out that way. Message them. Could you beeline here? Yeah. But yeah, variety is the spice of life, and it certainly applies in Elite.
Yes.
Because if you keep doing the same thing, you'll burn yourself out. So
that is true. And then we did talk about that as well.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, right. I think we have sat through that video.
You have done amazing. Thank you, both of you. That is, of course, Beetlejuice and Orange Phoenix, for entertaining us so well. And what a stunning picture. So before you go, just an opportunity. This is for what you call shameless self-promotion. Where can people go to look at your stuff, to potentially commission you to paint to their screenshots? Not that you do, well, not that I assume you do commissions, but that you could, because it's that good.
We'll draw pictures that people send me. Yeah, I do. I've got a YouTube and I've got Twitter, which I tend to talk to people on, and it is Beetlejude. I think Commander Beetlejude probably on Twitter. You'll find me. I'm there. I think I am Beetlejude on YouTube as well. But if you look on my Twitter, which is, I think, Commander Beetlejude, you'll find my, thank you, Witherspoon.
He's got you covered.
Oh yeah, and I'm there as well. I read out the news. I read whatever he tells me to read, even if it's slightly insulting to myself. I do that.
And Orange Phoenix,
I do that as well.
Where can people find what you get up to, or even participate if you're open to participants?
You can find a lot of my work in Sagittarius Eye, obviously. You can find me in SPVFA, the Facebook group. If you search SPVFA on Facebook, you'll find it. I know not all the people are that way inclined, but you'll also find me under Commander Orange Phoenix on Twitter as well. And I do Twitch streams normally just on a Sunday under Commander Orange Phoenix as well, if you want to see me in action.
Fantastic. Thank you again. That was really, really, really enjoyable, and there's an awful lot of comments. People just, I think this that ugly jealousy side comes out when they see somebody with proper talent. You think, but for being as lazy as I am, I could do that. But no, we can't. So thank you very much for giving us your time tonight, and enjoy the rest of your weekend in Lavecon. And maybe one year, Orange, you can make it over to the physical one, and we can all enjoy the joys of being in a bar together again, and the chaos that ensues therein.
I'd absolutely love to visit a Lavecon. I've been dying to do it for years, personally.
Brilliant. Well, thank you again. Thank you, Jude. Anything you want to say before you go?
Not really. Thank you. That was less painful than I expected. So thank you.
It was awesome.
And thank you, Orange Phoenix. You're very, very kind and wonderful.
Oh, quite welcome. It was a joy to be here. Thank you, everyone.
Super.
I'm using the picture you did for me.
Flossie. See, you've got so many fans. Right. We are now getting set up for, I'll just switch off. There you go. You're now free. You can so breathe a sigh of relief that you're now off air and safe to go. We are now gearing up for our last item tonight, and then you can all go to your bed. That, of course, is the special edition of Lavecon Hutton Orbital Radio, who nearly couldn't do it because the cast weren't making it this year, but now because it's virtual they can, and so they've decided to make the most of it and give us a very special Hutton Orbital Radio live. They will be starting promptly at 11 p.m. I hope. That's not to do with them, that's to do with me, and we will see you then. So until then, enjoy a little bit of music, and we will catch you in a second. I say a little bit of music, I do realise that I've accidentally removed my playlist completely.